bad and the weird. You either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
The killing of the Utes finally comes to an end in final summer. Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. MicroViews, I'm Nicho.
And I'm Chris.
And yes, we are finally finishing our accidental child-killing summer.
It was meant to just be a fun time. We've killed so many children.
Yes.
Oh, no.
As some would say, fuck them kids.
Well, some of these movies...
Some of the kids did deserve it. So.
Some of these movies. We end with Final Summer.
Yeah, written and directed by John Eisberg, starring Jenna Kahn as Lexi, Tom Matthews as Sheriff Parker, and Bishop Allie Stevens as Deputy Henry, and follows a group of camp counselors hunted by a mass killer. You know, the most generic of all summer horror plots.
This one really epitomizes all of the bad things that we've said about some of the other films that then had good things to balance them out. Mm-hmm. This one is lacking in some of the good category.
Yeah, so what do you think of the initial concept of Final Summer?
I don't hate it because I like a summer camp counselor death. I like that we've also removed the, like, quote-unquote children. They're still teens, but they're meant to be older, adultier teens. There's just... the summer's wrapping up. It's just the camp counselors left cleaning up the camp. They're the ones getting hunted for sport. Yeah. I like that part of it. I was trying to be open-minded about the mask of this movie because I do feel that if you're gonna, like, the reason that we have horror masks is because you want to have something recognizable for people to, you know, associate with your movie and potentially... probably have merch to sell, right?
There is merch, but
you know what this is? This, like, you can buy this from Walmart. Like, this isn't unique.
It doesn't feel special, yeah.
No, and it's not even in the, like, oh, it's a hockey mask sort of situation. Like, no, that one feels like, oh, the kid found it and, like, that's the mask. Yeah. This is like, he had to bring this with him. He thought about this. The character went to a Walmart and said, what's a scary mask I can buy to murder my friends with? Yeah. This one... This is it.
Well, and here's the thing: is like I think the initial part is that it plays a bit too heavily with Friday the 13th in style, setting up the mass killer after a camp accident and avenging parents from the get-go. Though I will give it at least a little bit of props for its deviation that there's a little bit of like, okay, well, the camp's closing because of property development or they're being pushed to change.
I do like that. That was a fun, like, addition. They don't do anything with it.
Exactly. And see, that's the thing is like how this movie's executed is that initially it does one of my biggest annoyances in slasher films. I talked about this in our Sleepaway Camp episode, but it's that we begin with a killing and there's like it's kind of a generic killing while it's trying to build up like this own little rural hero Freddy Krueger / also local quest as a man like the man has become a killer.
I agree,
but then there's like no kills for 40 minutes in the movie. The 20 minutes in there's hinted that there's someone dead, but
not really.
There's 40 minutes and this movie's only like an hour and a half.
Yes, I agree. And my other like major complaint about this film is that unlike our other ones where there is rules to the killing, right? Where either it's a really strong and hard, fast rule, which is my favorite, or there is a kind of a generic like, oh, I'm killing you because your parents wronged me, which weak, but a logic. There is a rule. This one, the rule is you're here.
Yeah, and so...
That's not good enough. I'm sorry.
That's my biggest issue with this. It's not just that they're there. It's that there's too many of the camp counselors. And this movie becomes the definition of killer fodder. Yes. Where, like, I don't have an opportunity to really focus on a bunch of the other characters. Like, or at least one of the characters. Like, it tries to make Lexi this main character and a little bit of her drama from the past. But it's so easily forgotten.
It's so quickly forgotten.
Exactly.
And here's the other problem, is there's too many characters. If this is going to be a, like, oh, we're just slacking our way through a movie, that's fine. But, like, don't give me characters to care about. Have, like, generic, quote-unquote, townspeople. Yeah. That are, like, the main fodder, and then we have, like, 2 to 3, maybe 4 if you're really pushing it. people that I'm meant to be watching and, like, supposedly care about.
Yeah.
Right? This one doesn't do that. There's too many. I don't know who anyone is.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's a little too self-aware for what it is.
It is.
And that
on the nose.
Yeah, that doesn't make up for the lack of who we care about. Because, like, Isberg stated on their website,
yeah,
I wanted the violence to feel chaotic and disturbing, yes, but I also wanted it to feel wrong in the way real violence often does. Not operating or glamorous, but disorienting. The killer's motive is intentionally unclear because sociopaths rarely offer clarity. They thrive in ambiguity. They maintain control by denying responsibility. But that's the thing. It doesn't feel wrong.
No,
it is just the
random.
it's a super generic everyday slasher violence.
I completely agree. And I think a huge reason for the disappointment in that statement, where I see why maybe we were going with that, but I feel like I don't think the movie proves that point.
Yeah, no, the killer doesn't feel connected to any of that. Like, it's like, it doesn't feel like connected to Lexi. It doesn't feel connected to anything other than he's just there for chaos.
He's just there for chaos, and I think a huge part of that is the quote-unquote reveal of who the killer is.
Yeah, it's spoilers ahead. It's the big twist. It's the one counselor that was hinted at died 20 minutes into the movie, and it doesn't even give us a chance to, like, really care about him or care that he's the killer now.
And here's, like, the main, like, problem with all of this. And I could see the statement, I can see kind of where we're going. We didn't pull hard enough from the source, like, text, because this movie came out in 2023, so it's not like we're competing with 80s or even 70s slashers. We're fresh, we're new, and we can pull from those sources all we want because it's been long enough. And this movie doesn't. This movie lightly hints at things that have like other slasher movies in the past, but it doesn't lean in hard enough with, like, scary storytelling. It doesn't lean in hard enough with the, tragic backstory of someone and why that's why they're the killer. It doesn't lean in hard enough to the idea of a twist. So this is, like, not a twist at all because I don't know who this person is and I don't care about this person.
Yeah.
This is just a random guy who's essentially wandered in and only uses axes.
Yeah, there's multiple references to other slasher movies, and then they even use the line, fucking dying here, which is this, I guess is supposed to be an homage to Scream, but it ends up feeling like a ripoff more than anything.
And the mask, the mask is bad. The mask is bad. I'm sorry. This is a shitty mask. Try a little harder. Pick something different.
Well, and on top of that, like, the end ends up with another mystery of a post-credits of someone else picking up the mask. And, like...
Is the mask haunted? Because if that's the case, that would have been cool. But
yeah.
The mask isn't haunted. We know that.
And here's the thing. While I do appreciate Isberg trying to explain his points, like, again, from his movie, from the website for this movie...
Yeah.
He says the film is in many ways a metaphor for what it feels like to emerge from psychological abuse, confused, shaken, struggling to understand what really happened and trying to piece together your sense of self. Survival is not triumphant. It's messy and painful, but it's survival. That's what Final Summer ends the way. That's why Final Summer ends the way it does. It doesn't hand out neat answers because real trauma rarely does. And here's the thing.
Sure.
The movie does very little to explain this. Like,
it barely touches on this.
I get it's dealing with other camp counselors dying and their survival, and the flashbacks don't really help because the killer doesn't feel connected to the trauma at all in its way. It just feels like senseless violence. Like, trauma, I guess, can be senseless, but...
No, I'm not saying that it can't. I'm saying there's not enough time for these characters to then embed the trauma to the audience.
No, exactly. And here's the thing. That whole statement that he said... It feels like a lot of effort with little payoff because of the subject matter. It makes me think of, there was this Korean flick called Red Carpet. It's about a dude who's shooting adult videos and aspires to be like some bigger director. And in one of the scenes, early on in the movie, he's shooting something and he's like, oh, this is my homage to, like, Bong Joon-ho or Park Chan-wook, some of the big Korean directors.
Yeah.
And another character tells him, like, bruh, you're shooting a fucking porno. This is
it's
not
high art. Yeah.
And so that's why, like, Isberg's statements make it feel like he was trying to make Final Summer, like, at the 2023, we're still dealing with the
COVID.
high horror fallout.
Yeah, where everything needed to be the next level of art. I agree.
Like, I feel he had good intention behind what he was trying to get this movie to be.
I agree.
But it's that lack of connection that really makes it feel like it's just a generic horror film with a loose idea behind it.
And this brings us back to something that I'm going to harp on for a while from our last episode on until fall.
Okay.
This movie is poorly researched. And here's why.
Okay.
He's clearly done enough research on like the psychology of like the psychiatry on the psychopathic killer, as he calls. He's done enough on trauma and the response. You can see that in the directing of like certain scenes in this, where there is a panic, especially where like the one character has been attacked and they're like, trying to like triage them up a little bit. That's good. That's all like well thought through, well like put together. There's clear direction behind that scene. The rest of this has no research whatsoever. And I would argue that why some that don't have research do well, and this one doesn't, is because the ones that don't are based on someone's personal experience. There is real life tangents or connections, and that's what we're pulling from. Yeah. And so, like, yeah, it's silly or over the top, but yeah, you can see how, like, oh, well, in my real life, you know, my friend George really did that dumb shit. This one, even some of the kills are not well researched, to the point where my husband, who's barely watching this movie, looks up and goes, that's not how that works. And I don't want to spoil which kill that was, but it was enough that a man who isn't into horror and hasn't done stupid research for this stupid podcast to know, like, what is actually going to cause certain death and what's not, that even he went, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it feels like he wrote this movie from there's this, I don't know if it's necessarily a meme, but there was like a discussion years ago, or I mean, maybe it's ongoing, but like anyone who survives a horror film, the amount of shit that they're going to have to deal with after the fact.
Yes, which is a good concept.
It is a good concept.
It is a good concept. This movie doesn't handle it well, though.
Exactly. There's no tie of like the main character dealing with her trauma to like,
no.
Okay, well, how like the killer just feels like, okay, he's there to kill and like try and force her into like some remission of this, but like not really. Like it just.
And unlike other horror movies that we've even covered, where we get to have a like truly crazy killer who has barely any logic, or the twist ending is that they are wildly unconnected to reality. Yeah. This guy is supposed to, according to the director's own words, be like wildly unconnected to reality, a true crazy person.
Yeah, look at Terrifier.
Exactly. The problem is that we don't really get to ever know the killer. We get a reveal, but that's not doing anything. You could have told me his birthday, and that would have done the same amount of shock and, amaze.
Exactly. He's not tied to the main character as far as like watching the movie, I could tell.
And we don't get any backstory from him. This isn't like a exploration of him having gone through a similar crazy murder summer, and now he's become the crazy. I mean, hell,
look at not dumb, but a great horror film, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
I agree fully.
Starts off as this very generic horror flick of, okay,
there's some stupidity.
It's the rednecks. But it's that reveal at the end of like, okay, all of this horror happened because of one character's specific history.
Yes. There is none of that in this. And that is its main downfall.
Mm-hmm. And hell, look at Friday the 13th.
Exactly.
A bunch of mystery until the very end when it's like, okay, well, there's some tie to the beginning of like what started all of this killing.
Exactly. And instead, the tie can't be, oh, he also was murdered.
He put on a mask.
The mask isn't good enough.
Exactly.
The mask isn't good enough. It's not scary enough, in general.
It's not Jim Carrey the mask.
It's not. And it's also not Batman mask. Because at least in the Batman world, we have a baseline for like, oh, well, once someone looks stupid, they're either a superhero or a villain. This world doesn't have that. We don't know anything about this world. We assume it's a normal world.
Yeah.
So there's a lot missing.
Well, and on top, it's not just that it's missing, is that whole opening intro is supposed to build up like, okay, well, maybe it's X, Y, and Z. It's this person. They try to do that a little bit of like, okay, it's this guy whose kid died on the camp counseling. But it ends up
so weak.
Yeah, it ends up not playing with that at all, or playing with any of the urban legends that they bring up. It's just some random dude puts on a mask and goes psycho.
And here's the thing. I had high hopes for this. This is why I'm harping so bad. Is the first like couple minutes where they're all sitting in the woods giving the scary story. That's good. there was some real potential there.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying, is it starts taking these horror tropes of like their neighborhood the firefighter who becomes basically their Freddy Krueger was a good guy turned crazy.
If we had just stuck with that and left it as that's who is actually the killer, not some random kid who decided he wanted to be.
Take one of those tropes that you kind of put on its head a little bit
and just go with it. Just go with it. Because I'm not going to lie, the first 10, maybe 20 minutes of this film are interesting and well done and explain some of the things. We could have swapped this dumbass mask from Walmart out with a fireman's face mask and hat, and this movie would have been significantly better.
Exactly.
Because then it explains the axe usage. We could have leaned on more, honestly. Maybe more fireman stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe even, manage to drown somebody with a fire hose. I don't know. We get creative here.
Exactly.
Lean into one trope.
Exactly. So.
Which is disappointing, because this movie looked okay. I'm not going to say the gore was the best. It's low budget. It's, first of its group, whatever. But it wasn't the worst. I've watched worse.
Yeah.
It was, visually fine. It's just, man, the story sucked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was no heart to it.
No, and for a horror film, that's where it really counts, guys.
You have to have at least even an inkling of heart to it.
Yeah, at least one person on the staff needs to really be dedicated to this film. And unfortunately, I think everyone was just here to be here.
Yeah. No,
Which, it happens. I'm not saying this is the worst movie I've ever watched this year. But it's not high up there. I'm sorry.
It's emotionless.
Yeah, disappointingly so.
So then, Chris, Rent by Streamer declined that we ever watched Final Summer despite having an audio recording of us watching it.
If this movie was free on my Roku TV,
I think it's on Tubi.
I would scroll past it to watch literally anything else. I'm sorry. There's so much other stuff that's free and better that I can't even recommend this to my other horror fans. I had a friend who asked what I was watching this weekend, and I lied to her. I lied and said I was watching a different movie because I knew she'd like the other one better.
Was it the shark movies that you were asking me about earlier?
we did. I told her I did go back and watch them, but she was like, "Do you want to watch them together?" And I was like, "No, I'm working." Because this movie was it's just, I don't know, it wasn't good enough to recommend, and I never want to watch it again.
I'm sorry, Chris's friend.
It's okay. She did like the shark movie.
Well, good.
Ouija Shark 2 was terrible, but fun.
I'm sure. The first one wasn't good either. So.
Well, I've not seen the first one, but the second one was bad.
As for me, I don't want to say stream it. I think if I do, I would recommend streaming it. It would just to watch something that's super generic to hey, see how this plays out. Maybe you need something a little bit more to your story to really tie everything together. There's parts where it's not atrocious, but and it isn't unwatchable. My issue is it's just super generic, and then reading more about it, there's so much intention that doesn't come through, and it's you had zero clue what you were doing with this.
I agree. If you desperately need something to fold laundry to.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, but that's the summer of child murders and some murdering children. It's over.
Yeah.
But get ready as we begin something that Chris has been looking forward to as a bit of our preamble and transition from last year's vampires to this year's October theme.
Yes.
Something a little sparkly and nostalgic for most.
It's fall time. It's that most magical time of year. Get excited, everyone.
I am very pissed off and I hate you right now.
That's okay.
So
worth it.
Yeah, sure. But anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird MicroViews.
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Thank you for stopping by this here town of the Good, the Bad, and the Weird. We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there. And always, check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace.